Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Morning Talks with Ro. I just got my morning drink on deck. I'm going to turn off this windshield wiper. Today it is raining in Cali. It's been raining in Cali a lot of late. We missed a huge downpour, I guess, a few days ago, but I'm so excited about it because y'all know we've been dealing with a drought, right? So we need the rain. It's always so pretty. Once it finishes raining here, a lot of the flowers bloom. A lot of the grass that needed some water starts to turn green again. It just gets prettier here. So I'm excited about it. Today's topic, I'm excited about that too. Hey, y'all. Yo, Shanika, what up? How you doing, darling? Today's topic I'm excited about. It's the power in telling your story. There is power in telling our stories. And I have a good feeling that a lot of people who join today's conversation may be sitting on an aspect of their story or their story overall in general that could be robbing someone else of your testimony and growth because of it. Like, there are certain things that I have shared with you. I shared with you guys a lot about my past in order to help you grow, right? In order to stretch you in perspective, in order to provide a space of healing. Because I know that through my story, somebody else might get inspired, and then that's going to push them to do whatever they might want to do or need to do in order to live the life that they want to live. Welcome to the conversation, everybody. Good morning. This is Morning Talks with Ro. If you think that this conversation could be beneficial for someone else to hear, share the talk right now. Hit the share button. I don't know how you do it, but I know people share stuff. So, you know, if you think it would be something that people would benefit from in hearing our conversation today or contributing to our conversation today, please go ahead and share it. For those of you who don't know, I am in the middle of the launch for the next round of transformation at my online coaching school, Personal Power University. What up? I see a lot of the students are in the chat right now. Shout out to Personal Power University. It's 12 weeks of transformation, right? Dealing with different aspects of what gets us to being successful in life. Because for me, I've learned that so much of success is an inside job. So what are the things you might need to work on? What are the things you might need to let go of? What are some of the things you might need to address that you're running from that could be posing a block to your prosperity and your success in life? Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the conversation. If you think Personal Power University could be a good fit for you, or you just want to find out more about it, put yes in the comments here, and I will private message you and we'll take it from there. Welcome to the conversation, everybody. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. I need some music, man. I feel like I want to hear some music right now. And I can't hear none. But then you know how Facebook is. Uh-oh. Sorry. You know how Facebook is, y'all. You don't own the rights to the music, and then they might mute my dang on video, huh? So welcome to the conversation. Hey, Tiffany, that's right. PPU strong. Does everybody have their morning drink on deck before we get all the way in? You got your morning drinks? I got a good drink today that I really, really like. I'm making it not so cute with my lipstick. But I like it. Tastes good. Hey. Okay. So today we're going to be talking about the power in telling your story. Now, there are several ways that I could approach this, or several things that we could talk about in association with telling your story. Because there are so many benefits. I don't know if we're going to touch on all of them or if we're going to just dive into a couple of them, because y'all know once we start running off at the mouth, this conversation can take all kinds of turns, but it's always, always, always on purpose. It's always good. So, hey, Karen, welcome to the conversation. The power in telling your story. Well, for me, it's still morning. So, and I was so glad. I was like, they don't try to talk about me if I'm not here by the morning time. So I'm in the morning on the West Coast, y'all. No, baby, it's 11 o'clock in the morning. See, I know y'all was gonna try to give me some specialness, but it's still in the morning on the West Coast. Oh, thank you so much, Devon. Thank you. Yeah, I've been working out. I haven't been going as hard in the paint as I usually go, I'm getting ready to kick it up a few notches. I worked hard last year in 2018. And once I started to get to like the latter part of the year, I started to give out a little bit of gas. And I think I was just ready to kind of like hibernate and re-up. You feel me? I went hard. So it's important to do that. It's important to kind of, you know your limits. Sometimes I won't even call it limits. Ew. Know when you need to take a break. Know when you need to take a break. Know when you need to just kind of step away from something. If you feel it and it's on you, even though you're a go-getter and you're a champion, make sure that you pause when you need to pause. Because more than likely, if a pause is on your shoulder, something's trying to get your attention, whether it's for your physical health, whether it's for your mental health, whether it's for your spiritual health. Something could be trying to get in and speak to you, but you moving. You're so busy that you can't pause and get the message. Right? So for the champions out there, make sure you pause. If it's on you and you feel it, it's okay. Make it okay to pause. Okay. So the power in telling your story. As I mentioned before, one of the things that I've done, I think just naturally, in order to drive a message home, is to tell it from my perspective. To tell it in the sense of relating it to my life. How the tool actually worked for me. I'm not just giving you lip service, but I'm telling you, hey, I had to work this stuff for myself, right? I had to use these tools for my own walk. And so this is what it can look like. But there's even more depth if we give the details too. Like sometimes for time, right? I might not go into depth with a story. I may just tell you about my story and tell you that I experienced stress, tell you that I experienced a lot of fear, tell you that I experienced a lot of doubt and worry. But then if I go even deeper and I say, when I hit the drought in my life, hey Shamika, when I hit that drought in my life and I didn't know if I was changing careers, something I've been doing since I've been 12 years old professionally. And I'm looking at, I've never even had to get what they would consider a regular 9 to 5 until I hit 35. And I'm like, am I, just to make ends meet. And even though I ate the healthiest I ever ate in my life at that time, because I knew I needed it, I was eating a lot of the same food every day because I couldn't afford to get the variety that I wanted. But I knew I needed to eat a certain kind of way for the fuel that I needed to stay up late at night and get up in those early mornings and then wash and repeat. Now, I could just say I dealt with a lot of stress and a lot of fear and I didn't know what the heck was going on with my life. But then by telling you what I just told you, and that was just a little bit more depth, there's still more layers, right? Giving you a little bit more depth says, wait, she's been through it too. She's been through something too. She's been challenged on a whole other level too. Maybe I can do this, right? There's power in telling your story. This is just one aspect of the power that's in telling your story. And then, a lot of us might feel shame, right, surrounding our story. Maybe there's some things that you did that you're not proud of, right? Maybe there's some things that you did that you look back on and you're like, that was me. Can't believe I made that choice. Or I'm so ashamed that I made that decision. Or why did I allow that person to stick around for so long? Or why did I allow myself to just get beat down in my self-esteem like that? I look so desperate, just embarrassing, right? We've got stories like that. And some of us are sitting on those stories. Some of us are hiding those stories. But little do you know that the more courage you can muster to share that aspect of yourself in your life, you could be opening up more opportunity to connect with other people that you've never connected with. You could be opening up the opportunity to create breakthrough, not only for the other person that's hearing it, but for yourself. Because I've noticed there's certain things that I felt shame about, that I felt was in my life. When I found the courage, and sometimes you got to find that person or those people that you trust in that moment, just to test it out. Let me test the waters. Let me dip my toe in the pool, right? To tell just somebody that this happened with me or to me. And then when you do that, don't you feel like a little bit of relief? Somebody knows, and it's okay. The more that you can muster up the courage to tell somebody, you get a little bit more courage to tell the next person. and then a little bit more courage to tell the next person. And then the next thing you know, your story is profound, and it's part of what makes you, it is most definitely part of what makes you you. It's why you've made the decisions you make currently. It's why you're on path to whatever life you choose to live for the future. Right? But without your story, who are you? It's such an intricate part of what makes you you. And the more that we can get comfortable with telling our stories, imagine the impact that you can have. Could be to the person next to you. You could become an advocate on behalf of a group of people that have experienced what you've experienced. But the first step is telling your story. Let me see what y'all are saying. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the conversation. We're talking about the power in telling your story. Tiffany says, I never forget the first time you told me this story and about the winter you were in. Still impacts me whenever I think about it. Bless up, baby. That's the power in telling our story. Tiffany is another entertainer. Very talented lady. And she has had to step out of her comfort zone in order to not only chase down her dreams, but do something similar to what I had to do, which was to branch off and expand in what she was capable of delivering on the planet. What other purpose could you serve? What other way could you deliver yourself through that purpose? It's scary, especially if you're not going the traditional route. You may be a budding entrepreneur like she is, selling an incredible product that you believe in, but you still got to get out there and sell it. You still got to get out there and tell your story through it. You know what I'm saying? Same thing for me as a coach. That's what birthed me as a coach, is my winter, my story, my fear, the stress that I went through, and the things that I implemented and that I documented along the way. And now I get to tell you that story from the other side. It's so powerful. Okay, let's see. Shamika says, yes, but change happens in growth. Bless up. Beverly, welcome to the conversation. Your story is the sand in your oyster. Someone needs to hear it. I tell my story when I'm playing my piano live on Facebook. It just comes out. Bless up, Beverly. Thank you for that. Shamika says, I hid my story for so long, but I'm changing that now. I don't mind honest transparency. Shamika, you have blessed so many people. You hid it due to judgment. So many of us do. And that's why I recommend, because everybody's not going to be responsible with your story, y'all. Sometimes you are going to meet with people that judge you in a way that's going to be hurtful. But that's okay. Everybody's got a story. Everybody's been through something. And if they don't relate to it, somebody else can relate to it. And those are the people you want to connect with anyway. We're not going to be liked by everybody. Go ahead and throw that notion away. It's just like the most futile thing for us to even desire. Please like me, everybody. Whatever. We're not intended to connect with everybody. If you connect with everybody, imagine how much distinction you don't have as an individual on the planet. Like, I connect with a lot of people just because I've stretched in perspective about life, and I choose to embrace a lot more people than maybe your average person. But I still don't connect with everybody. Some people just don't like me, I'm sure. You know what I'm saying? They just don't. So those aren't the people that I'm intended to connect with. And the more I can prioritize that it's just most important that I touch who I'm supposed to touch. And that's it. That's what's most important. Let God work out the rest. That's why I love having a spiritual life, because it's not all on me. I don't have this small point of view or this, you know, where it's me doing everything, because that can be overwhelming too. You know, there's times where people might reach out with something and I'm feeling like, oh gosh, what can I do? And I'm like, whoa, this is God's child, not your child. I'm a conduit for love. I'm a conduit for whatever I can do, but this is not your child, Rhona. This is God's child. Let God work out the rest. Take the pressure off. So now my focus is just, how do I make an impact for my little corner of the world? And whoever's supposed to connect with that, thank you for connecting me with them. Because that's who's going to benefit. If I worried about who I was going to connect with every time I got on live, or every time I wrote a book, or every time I did something and distributed it to the public, can you imagine how that might shut me down if I'm like, well, I hope it, you know, I connect with this amount of people. No, if I just touch one, great. That takes so much of the pressure off. And then it just allows me to show up. Show up with your story. Show up with who you are. You never know the ripple effect of that. Like, can you imagine the person that might have been an inspirational catalyst? Perfect example. Malcolm X. Woo! Talk about a story. But there was one cat that came, the guy that came in and introduced him to the Nation of Islam, turned his whole life around. Look at the ripple effect of that. Your story can create the next. It's just one person, but that one person touched a masses of people. Right? Oh my goodness. Okay, let's see. Tell your story on your blog. Now, yes, you do, Shirley. Congratulations. It's so worth it. Therese says, I have a lot of stories to tell. It's hard for me to express them sometimes. That's okay. You practice by telling one person and then telling the next person and then telling the next person and then a group of people maybe. You never know. But just start with that one person and then the next person. And it may take some time, but give yourself permission to share your story. Let's see. Shamika says, no one's going to be as responsible with your story, which is why I want to tell my truth first before someone else has the time to add or remove detail. Bless up. That could be another catalyst for wanting to tell your story your way. Because people might jump in, then you behind the train trying to clean up stuff. But then you don't even have to think about it that way either. Your story is your story. And when you show up in your authenticity, that's good enough. You being honest, that's good enough. That means you are doing the best you can in that moment with who you are. You're being honest. You're being authentic. Let me see what you guys are saying. So powerful. I love it. Thank you for contributing to the conversation, everybody. It says, I can relate. Okay. Bam. Therese says, thank you. One day you will. Bless up. Ripple effects can be great. Yes. Tiffany says, yes. Just show up. Ripple effect. Bless up. Y'all better talk. Beverly says, sharing your story is also a part of your healing. Another amazing benefit of sharing your story is that it's healing. It speaks to what we were just talking about a little bit earlier, which is every time you tell somebody, it's like, somebody else knows. And it also can help you reconcile with your past. You know, it also can help you to find the good in it because you're not running from your story. What did you gain from it? There's been a few students that have come through PPU. One in particular, Marquita, has turned her story. She's an advocate. She's turned her story into something good. It took a second. It also helps you find your voice. She didn't have a voice. She couldn't find her voice. So many people had told her they didn't support her in telling her truth. So she closed in on herself. When she would come out, close in on herself because nobody wanted to believe it. Oh, that just made me think about something else that we're talking about in pop culture right now that a lot of people did not want to see. But now that it's on Front Street, what the character of a person, it's like, gosh, So you close in on yourself. Right? And then the more she wanted to share, she closed in again. So for years, she was... And we got together and she got with some therapists and you know what I mean? And started to tell her story. Find a place where somebody's going to make space for you to just be and say it. I just need to say it. I just need to express it. And the more she got comfortable saying it, then she was able to address things. Because sometimes if we don't clean up what's back there, it's affecting your choices and your belief today. Your belief in what's possible, your belief in yourself, your belief that you can even get over it because you're running from it. A lot of us got on track shoes, man. Maybe it's just time to stop. Go look at it. What is your story? And if you want to, tell it beginning, middle, and end. How does your story contribute to what's going on with you presently? And then how can it contribute to your future? Even for someone who feels like they haven't even extracted the good yet from their story. Let's take something that, as deep as abuse in some way, right? So who has it, how has it affected who you are today and the choices that you make? And then what's the good in it? How can you turn it around? How can you find out about what it can mean to you moving forward? And your success moving forward, your advocacy on behalf of other people, maybe moving forward. Yeah. Telling our story can be one of the most healing tools that we could ever find. Finding the good in our story can make it a platform for something greater in the future and in the now. Is it time for somebody who's in this chat to tell your story, to get more comfortable? More comfortable. Maybe you're not the most comfortable yet, but more comfortable with your story. And if it's necessary to get with a therapist or a coach or a mentor or a family member, somebody that you know has a space capacity of love to handle your story, if it's time for that, is today the day? Let's see. Lauren says, I hid my story for a long time, and now I don't hold back no more. For as long as I live on this earth, that's why God has brought me out of my darkness and into the light. And I'm ready for the change that God bless up, baby. Let me see if I can see the rest. That God is about to bring into my life. Good for you. Robert Cunningham says, when I was in depression, when I was in college 30 years ago, I opened up, and that led to 30 years as a LCSW, and I help others and share for years. I grow from my story. Beautiful, wonderful story of being a champion because you told your story. So many people need our stories, but if we're sitting on them, we could never know the impact that we're intended to make because we went through it. You never know the impact you're intended to make because it's here. It's who you are. It's shaped who you are. It shapes your choices. It shapes what you think about life. And maybe by telling your story, getting more comfortable with your story, getting more comfortable with telling more about your story, even if it's not on some major platform. You don't have to go out here and spill the beans like that, but start with one at least. You never know what that could bring up and out. You never know the relief and healing that it can bring. The sigh of relief. And then what power comes with your story? How many people do we know out here that have told their story and were so moved and inspired, and they have built careers off of telling their story, built careers off of helping other people tell their stories? I mean, there's so much power in our stories. We don't know what they could become, but we got to get okay, right, with having them. They shape who we are. Doesn't have to define who you are. You can move on from your story. You can create more and put more to your story, right? Okay, James says, I will tell my story to anyone who will. I figure you say, listen. Hey, Joseph. Beverly says, telling my story to you and another coach helped me to release over 31 pounds. I know it set me free to create. Beverly is another one. She wanted to lose weight, get back and just centered and power. And just from telling her story, you guys, she lost weight, 31 pounds. Did you know that we can carry our stories in our weight, in our body mass? Did you know we carry emotional baggage, and that can translate into weight gain? Wow. Same thing with clutter, you guys. How many of us have articles of clothing and boxes and trinkets and whatever that are steeped in our story? And maybe some of that stuff holds not so great memories, and you got it right in your space, just holding on to your story. Is it time to let some of that stuff go so that you can create a new story if you don't like the past one? If you haven't turned the past one into some good for you, so that when you think about it, it's like, but that's it shaped me into who I've become. But if it doesn't bring you that kind of empowerment, is it time to let it go and circulate back into the universe? Create space for more prosperity to come in. Create the space for change because you've let that go. Is it time to declutter? Good point, Beverly. Okay, James says, it wasn't until I met my girlfriend, Claire Elizabeth, that my story changed for the better. Well, bless up, baby. I'm glad you had a beautiful catalyst. Shamika says, I'm semi-comfortable with my story. That's okay. At least you're a little bit more comfortable than you were. Right? There's certain things I'm semi-comfortable with. But at least I'm a little bit more comfortable than I was. Let's see. The shame was there, but I'm healing thanks to you, Coach. Bless up, Shamika. Thanks to you doing the work. How about that? Your story is a gift to the world because we are all from God. Yeah. To some degree, your story can help anybody, somebody. Your story can help somebody, trust me. Now, if you're trying to make an impact on millions and thousands, you got a certain amount of people you need to touch, then that changes it into another kind of goal, and that might set you up for another something else. But if you just want to touch the people you're supposed to touch the people that will really benefit from what you have to share, that changes the landscape. And if you don't have it stuck in some specific space of metrics that you got to meet, then now you might be just free to just touch people. And then the Most High gets to place you in those particular places so that you can do that. You're just available at that point. Okay. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the conversation. That's right. Hashtag tell your story. Shia says, morning, Ro. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, sweetheart. Let's see. I just went past your thing. I'm sorry. I'm having difficulty. See. Okay, there. Oh, God. Okay, here we go. Morning, Ro. Happy New Year. If we don't share our story, someone who needed it won't get it, right? They won't get what they need. Someone won't be healed or will still feel stuck or won't know how to take the leap of faith, even if that person is ourselves. Come on, sir. Shiest, another PPU alumni in the building, baby. For those of you who don't know, we are in the middle of the launch for the next round of transformations. 12 weeks with me. Hands on, baby. Let's go get it. And of course, you get to be amongst people like Shiest and Shanika and other people who have been contributing to this conversation who are in the PPU family. And we cannot replace the tremendous impact that they have on the school. That is something that I did not know to bank on, okay, when I started the school, that the community of PPU, the family of PPU, will be so valuable. It is nothing like having other people around you who have their stuff too, right? And they're still finding a way to make a way to get to their dreams, goals, and aspirations. So if you think that PPU might be a good fit for you, or you want to find out if it is, put yes in the comments. I will private message you and we'll take it from there. Thank you for that, Shias. Tony says someone needs to hear this. Thanks, Ro. Bless up. Share the video, you guys. Share the video. Anthony Powell, don't know you, but I'm up in here. Bless up, Anthony. Welcome to the conversation, sweetheart. Shia says, you semi-comfortable with those with the balloon ride. Exactly. You guys, we went on our first annual PPU retreat and vacation last year in Orlando. And you know what? I'm going to tie this into my past. Come on, we talk about telling our story, right? And gaining from our past. When I was on the Mouse Club, when I was a Mouseketeer, they wanted us to do a segment on a hot air balloon. And I was one of the Mouseketeers that they wanted to do it. And I refused. I was like, I'm not doing it. I have no interest in going up that high. I have no interest of talking while I'm up that high. I'm cool, right? So I carried that with me into my adult years. Fast forward now, I ain't go all the way up because we were still on a little string, right? But we went up pretty high. There's this hot air balloon ride at Disney Springs. And a lot of the students wanted to get on there. And I was like, I'm cool, right? I went right back to that space. And they're like, Coach, you're supposed to be, busting through your fears and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, but I didn't say I needed to conquer that. I don't, you know what I mean? But then I thought better of it in a moment. And I was like, you know what? It's not something I necessarily needed to conquer in my life, but why not? And so I started to think about it. I was afraid to do it, but I said, I'm going to do it. And I got on the balloon last year, Speaking of, so that was really cool. Thank you. Talk about semi-comfortable. Still not totally comfortable with riding hot air balloons, but I took that one step and now I'm just a little bit more. I gained a little bit more courage. Same thing with telling our story. We get just a little bit more comfortable. We gain a little bit more courage, right? Shy as you crack me up. Polly, sending love to you, Polly. Thank you. Best support family ever. Surely another PPU alumni. Yes. Making a beat while I'm listening to this. It goes well. Bless up, Anthony. I would love to hear that. You're all for the balloon rise. Bless up. Okay. So let me see what else. I always write notes so I don't forget stuff sometimes, right? But we just go off the cuff so much. So yeah, it's gonna require You guys, it's going to require that we take a risk sometimes. So if you do have something that you're sitting on within yourself as far as your story is concerned, and you're afraid to say it out loud, find someone, if you know somebody that you know has the capacity, the space of love, meaning a state of allowance, right, to just let you show up without judgment and say it. Go ahead and ask them if it's okay to do that. If not, find a therapist. Right? They're a neutralized enough party that hopefully you feel comfortable enough to say it. If not, find a group. There's so many social groups now and this is perfect example. Another reason why it's so important. I'm sure that social group started from somebody that had to tell their story first. Somebody had to be brave enough, take the risk enough to tell their story first. And then they found other people. They created more connection because of the story, right? So it's a really, really powerful thing to do. And you'd be surprised how it can open up different relationships and opportunities because you get more comfortable with who you are and what makes you you, what you've been through. Okay, Paulie says, just one more thing. I'm a big fan of your Sister Jamie Foxx show, and I think you're awesome. I'm very proud of you. Thank you, Paulie. Thank you. You just made my heart smile. Thank you for putting that link in, Anthony. I guess, okay, you showing me that you do music. That's what's up, babe. All the best to you with that. Did you guys want to throw anything out there in this conversation before we get out of here? Did you have any questions of me? Did you want to, matter of fact, it could be kind of cool to summarize your story and bring us into the most, how do I say this? Let's do something, you guys, before we get out of here. Who wants to write in the chat their story? It does not have to be long. Do it quick. Do it concisely from beginning, middle, and where it's taking you. Find the good in your story. Tell where your struggle was, right? How you started, what the struggle was, and what is produced in you now and what is can produce in you later. See if you want to write that in this chat. Who can do this concisely? This might be really powerful to do. Tell your story if you feel brave enough to do it. And extract the good from it. Extract the good from it. Anthony says, I did not know you were a star. That's cool. I mean, that's all relative, huh? Who wants to try and do that? Is anybody taking the leap? They're going to go for it? To tell your story, beginning, middle, current, or beginning, middle, and future. For example, let me see if I can tell my story concisely. Let me see if I can do that. And it's going to be super concise. Okay. So, you know, I've always wanted to be an entertainer, right? Since about 7 or 8 years old, I knew that. And I've been working in the entertainment business, the fine arts, professionally since I was 12 years old. And not until I hit one of the most major roadblocks in my life in my 30s was I faced with possibly changing my career and birthing a new one. That's what turned me into the life coach that I am today. And now not only do I have plans to continue with the entertainment aspect of me, but I am an author and a public speaker and a teacher and a coach because of what I've been through. Bam, baby. That's concise. Who else wants to go for it? Huh? Who else wants to go for it today? Telling your story, beginning, middle, future, in a concise way and extracting the good from it. So even if it's, you know, some craziness in the in between, I want you to extract the good from it. How has it contributed to your present? And what can it contribute to your future? What path does it have you on, or could it have you on, because you've been through what you've been through? Because your story is your story. Anybody taking the leap before I get out of here? You can do that, Anthony. There's some extra talent agencies that you could call and ask for work, ask to get on the roster, get you some pictures done, right? Get you some headshots and maybe some 3/4 shots, and send them in and get in their books, and they can start sending you out. Good stuff. For everybody who just joined the conversation, this is Morning Talks with Ro. I got my morning drink on deck. We've been talking about the power in telling our story, how healing it can be, the impact that it can make on others, right? And how freeing it can be because you're not hiding it anymore. You said, I told my story, Ro. Check it. Okay. Inbox me and I can give you some info. The actors. Well, thank you, Trey, for the resource. Anthony, I feel you on networking, but it's a time and place for everything. Oh, bless up, Shias. Trey, interested. I'll take the leap. Okay, beautiful, Shias. I'm waiting for your story, baby. Concisely put. Okay, Shirley took the leap, it looks like. Let me see. Okay, she says, always want to work in the office, which I did for 18 years, but this was not for me, this office life. So I began another profession beside my normal job and began a massage therapist for myself and now helping others. Bless up. Great job. Great job. Yes, honey. Speak. Beverly says, childhood trauma, child of domestic abuse, domestic violence, overcomer by expressing myself in music and lots of support. I am powerful and loved today. Come on, Beverly. Yes. All right. Lero Marcedale says, wow, I remember you used to be on a Jamie Foxx show. This is true, honey. God bless you too. Tiffany says, okay, Tiffany took the leap. I love it, you guys. I'm so proud of you for taking the leap. Tiffany says, I am an R&B pop singer-songwriter, and I am also a registered nurse. I have been an RN, a BN for 15 years, and working in the natural health field for 13 years. What I am doing now is pretty much an extension of what I had already been doing as the nurse manager at the holistic healthcare clinic I have been at for so long, except it's on my own now. As an entrepreneur, whether it's through my music or my day-to-day actions, my goal is to truly inspire, empower, and help others. Come on! Yes! Excellent, excellent, excellent. All right. Thank you, Christine. Sending love to you, honey. Anthony, I am a veteran, single, 52, just graduated with a BA in health administration degree and on disability with a bad back, but I can still bench 325. Come on, sir. Even though I hurt every day. Very proud of you. Shout out to y'all taking the leap and telling your story. And did you see how powerful it is to put it in that little bite-sized chunk? And then do you see how you empowered your story? Your story is no longer taking anything from you. You're empowered by your story. Come on, man. That was all. This is awesome. This is awesome. Now is the time and time and place. So before I get out of here, am I missing, I'm going to wait to see. Somebody else might still be writing their story and like, wait, Ro, now slow down. Shoot, I can't type that fast. And I'm thinking, dog nabbit, give me a second. So I'm being patient. While we're being patient, congratulations to everybody who took the leap and condensed their story into these little bite-sized chunks. Do you see how powerful you are? And do you see how your story contributes to who you are and your ability to be of service and your ability to inspire others? Hi, Maria. Ciao. Shanika says, born premature, diagnosed with autoimmune hepatitis at 12, liver transplant, depression, now helping others through my music and telling my story. I know Shamika. That's a PPU alumni, and she deals with pain on a regular basis, and she still does what she can to be positive, find empowerment in her journey, and to keep pressing forward. She's seeing more success with the distribution of her music right now, and she is becoming more vocal in her ability to inspire others through her journey. Kudos. Great job, man. Okay, let's see. Okay. Tony Alcerona, if you can help me finish my story. Tony, you should hit me up in private message. PPU could be a good thing for you. You may want to check it out. Let me know if you're interested in PPU. Put yes in the comments and we can take it from there. Christine Brown, I'm Shyest Love Mom. Hi, Christine. And you have really helped him continue. Thanks for being a positive Black role model. Oh, I just got to chill. Thank you, Miss Brown. Shia says, as a child, I realized loved ones around me never told me their story. They swept it under the rug. Oh, you just opened up another part of our conversation. That made me want to be a songwriter and throw conversation parties to help people tell their stories and shake the rug of comfortability. I know it, Shias. I'm so proud of you. And what a way to tie your story into what you are currently doing and how it can make an impact in the now and moving forward. Bless up. You just brought up another aspect of telling our story that I would like to address. Telling our story is also important to our family history. There are so many things that I would not have known about that's in my family DNA if they did not share it. For example, my mom and perfect example. One of my best friends recently told me this, and this is my oldest friend on the planet, meaning we've known each other since infancy. Our parents worked together, so we were born practically with each other. She says, Rhona, I didn't even know that I didn't know that about your uncle and mom till just recently. I think it happened last year, she found out. Because I don't talk about it, right? But she says, now I understand an aspect of your personality that it just speaks to who you are. And my mom and my uncle were some of the first students to integrate an all-white high school back in the 1950s. My grandmother, my mom's mom, used to work for Dr. Martin Luther King activists. My aunt, my mom's sister, was one of the people she was arrested on the day they crossed the bridge in Selma, Alabama. Made movies about this. My auntie saw strange fruit hanging from a tree, as they called it, at 16 years old. I have a lot of family history as it pertains to empowerment. And if you notice, when I'm passionate about something, I go hard in the paint for it. You feel me? So there's another level of stick-to-itness that I've come from. My father is a thoroughbred. My mom, thoroughbred. They both worked their jobs almost 40 years before they retired. My mom, 42 years. I think my dad was in the late 30s, almost 40 years on the job. Straight thoroughbreds. They go hard, they work, they do what's hard. They stay consistent. They are persistent. It's my DNA. You feel me? The way I feel about the Kaepernick situation, in my DNA. Even when it's uncomfortable maybe to say something, or even when it's not popular to say something, if I'm passionate about it, I'm going in. You feel me? I come from a different kind of DNA. But can you imagine my grandmother, the one who worked for Dr. Martin Luther King, when she was 4 years old? Oh, I gotta chill. When she was 4 years old and she was on the plantation with her family, they had to hide and get in this thing to steal away, is what they call it, in the nighttime to escape from slavery. It's in my lineage. So she says that just explains so much. And so my grandmother, before she passed away back in the 90s, my cousin thought good of it to film her talking about all her stories, because my grandmother was an incredible storyteller. And that's how we got so much of our family's history, because she told our story. So much of our family history gets lost because we're not telling our stories. So much of who you are and why you think the way you think, or, even when they say you've got genetic family history, that's the same thing for us, I think, spiritually, mentally. We need to know our history. Tell your story. Keep the story. We keep our family history alive by telling our stories. We find out what we're made of. We find out the ilk we've come from by telling our stories. I have a chill all up and down my back right now. Makes me emotional, because I come from powerful people. Thank you, Shiest. Thanks for the love. Everyone stay positive. Bless up, baby. Trey says, let's go. I'm an actor, writer, director, and have my own production company. Every day is a challenge. I'm trying to help others with their scripts and stories. Bless up, Trey. Thank you for the work you're doing. Christine says, be your own superhero. I love it. Beverly says, you go, girl. I like the support in here. Is that necklace unisex? It is. It's I get all my jewelry. It's custom. Sorry I didn't put on Do Not Disturb. You guys. Okay. Let's see. Maria Ciao. Oh, I don't speak Italiano. It looks like it's Italian. What are you saying, honey? Time for you to tell your family stories and write the book, Christine Brown. Ooh, what did Christine say? Yes, 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 yes. Okay. Oh, yes, your mommy. Shanika says, yep, definitely explains who you are. Wow. Yeah, girl. Robert says, I was a social worker with Boys Home, and I rap group. I led to a girl group, Tiora, and that led me to you through Tony Sims, and love helping them to find their gifts. You are amazing. Thank you, Robert, and thank you for sharing your story. Shirley says, wow, Jam and Jay. Hey, baby. Let's see. Lawrence says, oh, shoot, shucks. Sorry. Let's see. I'm working at FedEx and trying to make a living, but also I'm trying to get my acting career together and become a star. I have a lot going on, like the loss of my grandmother who raised me all her life, and so closet. I have friends who have lost their grandmothers and took a step to motivate people who's going a lot with marriage issues and the loss of loved ones. The loss of loved ones can be a very powerful place to share your story and find solace in connecting with others who deal with loss as well. Yes, facts, especially in Black families. We have to keep our story alive. We got to keep our story alive because so much of it is not documented. So much of it got lost in translation. This is why I appreciate places like the Legacy Museum in Alabama, where I put up that very poignant post recently. Because if we don't find out, first of all, it doesn't even get you to the humanity of what happened to us as a people. And then what shaped this country. History is so important. So important. Okay, this is how we know our history, through stories. Amazing in my DNA. Bless up, Tiffany. If any of you guys are in ATL and need a singer, I'm ready to finish my story. Bless up. Amazing. Keep on doing it, love. Yes, 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 you guys. You sure do. Keep being powerful. Okay, Christine says, it's hard to know my family history when I was raised in foster care. I'm making my own history or her story. That's right. And that's your story. And it's a beautiful, powerful story. You know how many foster kids have your story that you can connect with? And then who knows if you want to become an advocate on telling your story and starting family history as a foster kid, because it's a particular niche group of human beings who have been through something similar that probably feel like, yeah, well, where is my family history? My grandmother used to take care of foster kids. I just linked up. I just linked up with one of my grandmother's foster kids recently. She reached out to me to go speak at Kids Peace in Georgia. You guys might have saw me post about that. That was one of my grandmother's foster kids. Hadn't talked to her in decades. Okay. What country are you in? Are you speaking to me? I'm in America. Still want Mother Bennett to adopt me. I let her know. You guys, today's conversation was off the charts per normal. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your stories. If you think this conversation could be impactful or help someone else, please share away. We talked about some really good and powerful stuff today. Whew. The power in telling our stories. Okay, you guys, I've got a lot of things to accomplish today. I got to get back on track with all of it. So glad you could tune in. If you are interested in joining us on January 15th for the next round of transformation at my online coaching school, Personal Power University, you would not only be joining me where I have a hands-on approach with helping you to achieve your dreams and to do whatever healing, inner healing you need to do, because so much of success is an inside job. You would also be connected with a group of go-getters called the PPU family, and there's nothing like it. So if you're interested, put yes in these comments or private message me on your own. I will give you more details and we will see if it's a good fit. Until then, bless up everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Bye.